to invite up Vice Mayor Pryor to share some welcome remarks.
Oh, goodness.
It is bright.
Yeah, it's very bright. Like, because the kids do the shows here. All right, that's why the lights are like this. All right, well, good evening, everyone. I am Alameda Vice Mayor Michelle Pryor. On behalf of the city, I am thrilled to welcome all of you to this town hall event. I want to begin by thanking Congresswoman Simon for bringing us together and for allowing our shared constituents to hear directly from their elected. Ready? I am also a teacher. I can project. Should I just keep? I'm just going to keep going.
You keep going, Vice
All right, I'm going to keep going. All right. I'm going to start from that. So, thank you for allowing us to hear directly from our elected federal representative to ask questions and discuss the issues that matter most to our community. At the local level, we see firsthand how decisions made in our nation's capital affect our residents, neighborhoods, businesses, and essential public services. The city values and benefits form a strong partnership with our congressional delegation, one that ensures Alameda's priorities and the experiences of our community members are represented at the federal level. Congresswoman Simon has been a committed partner to the city, and we are immensely grateful for her work to secure federal funding for community projects benefiting the people of Alameda this year, as well as her continued advocacy for our pending projects in the current appropriation cycle. These investments make a meaningful difference in our ability to improve transportation and infrastructure, enhance public safety, and ensure resiliency. We also appreciate her support for our Reshape initiative at Alameda Point as the city works to create hundreds of new affordable housing units. This is something urgently needed in Alameda, throughout the Bay Area, and in communities across the country. And then in closing, Congresswoman Simon, thank you again for inviting us to join you for organizing today's conversation and for your continued partnership with the city of Alameda. We are grateful for your leadership and tireless advocacy, and we look forward to continuing to work together to deliver meaningful results for everyone who calls California's 12th congressional district home. And to all the folks here today, thank you for showing up, making your voices heard, participating in this conversation, and engaging in our civic process. I hope you find today's town hall informative, engaging, and worthwhile. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Congresswoman Lateefah Simon.
Again, we're going to figure out this microphone thing, but we've got a lot of camp counselors, teachers, organizers. We'll make it work. I really want to thank you all for coming out tonight. This is our 16th town hall meeting. To me, that's the floor. We want to do so much more. I am a new member to the United States Congress. Actually, next week, I've just learned that my colleague, Aisha Wahab, will be on Congress. We have a lot of work to do. So I'm just going to stand at the podium. Why don't I just give you a few updates, and then let's just go straight to the conversation. Does that sound good?
Yeah. And then Congresswoman, I wanted to make sure we also made some time for some questions at the top from our Alameda School Board President, Ryan Malone. So I want to give a special thank you to Alameda High School and AUSD for hosting us tonight and being such wonderful partners. To give some space to our school board friends. I know this light is really bright. I would love to invite Ryan up to kick us off with a few questions right at the top.
Thank you so much. It's the hardest job.
Right now,
member of the school board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for choosing the high school for this event. I have two questions that I wanted to ask to start us off, and they were education based since we're in a high school. My son just recently graduated from Alameda High School, and during his time here, we as a family navigated the special education system with his IEP, and we've seen firsthand how important additional resources can be to his success and other students' success. As a district, we know that the federal government is supposed to help fund special education, but that funding never really seems to be realized at its full cost. Historically, the federal government has pledged 40% of those costs, and we only ever reach 10%. What can Congress do to make sure schools have the resources that they need to support students with disabilities without putting the burden on local taxpayers?
I really am going to try not to cry. Oh my gosh, stop. I'm, recipient of IEPs and 504s. I was born with a very acute, and I live with a very acute visual impairment. And my mom spent so much time begging. I'm 49. And that was then. And what you just said, you're living my mother's story. Can she, in fact, have large print books? Can she, in fact, be in a space and sit in front? Can she have learning opportunities? And we are still here, and it's actually worse. Today, I'm going to answer your question. Today, I was on the phone for an hour with my daughter's guidance counselor. My daughter, she has great eyes, which is dyscalculia, which is like dyslexia but with numbers. And we're figuring out a plan for Layla's 504. And I know that all over the country, there are parents just like you and me who are experiencing a deliberate betrayal of this administration in supporting children with disabilities. It is deliberate. So the question is, what are we doing? We know from a values perspective, everyone here, every educator in this building is hell or high water for their students. The betrayal is, this administration has all but torn down the Department of Education. It's done. It's done. And in the Department of Education is the Office of Civil Rights, which was founded in the disability rights and racial justice rights movement to ensure that our students who are typically problematized in schools literally have worker bees overseeing and ensuring that they have justice in the classroom. What I am proud to say, and we're going to work more together, I have co-sponsored a bill, and it's the IDEA Full Funding Act. Pay the children and pay the teachers. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about taking that to the House in a minute, but we're going to ride that bill. I am not going to be a member who's just throwing bills in the hopper. The bills that I write and co-sponsor, that is our agenda, and at the center of everything that I do will be disability justice. It is core. It's core. The access to care, the access to education, these are human rights. So you have me there, and I would love to actually work with you a bit more, because the point of being in community is to have the issues bubble up, right, from right here on the ground, not just in our office in DC. We will fight for these babies. We'll also fight for their educators, because this moment in time, again, the betrayal is real, and I'm so proud of your son. So proud of your son. But let's keep fighting for the children together, and we're gonna get that bill passed at some point. We'll keep fighting until that happens.
And I think the IDEA just turned 50.
Yes, it did. Happy anniversary.
And so it would be nice for that to be fully realized after 50 years, right?
Well, I will say, I don't like to make false promises, because I spent my life as an advocate and organizer, and being lied to by public officials, I don't like it. No one deserves that. The President of the United States, I have no faith in him to do anything good for anyone. We will get this across the line sooner than later, I'm hoping. We have to win back the House, and we have to get a president who cares about children.
You touched upon this a little bit, but I'm deeply concerned, as you mentioned, about the dismantling of the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights and what it means for public schools. That office has been an important resource when students face discrimination based on race, disability, sex, or LGBTQ identity. At a time when programs supporting diversity, inclusion, and belonging are so under attack, How can school districts like ours here at Alameda Unified continue to access federal resources and get the support we need to protect students from discrimination and make every student feel more safe and included, which is what we're working on as a school district, and those supports are now not there for us.
You know, I don't think it's any secret or the worst kept secret in the building in DC. I'm fighting extremely hard to get on the Appropriations Committee. Folks say that junior members of Congress can't get there for at least a decade. Watch me. Watch me. I do everything possible because we know that real dollars can mean real benefits for our young people in the interim. In the interim, again, we don't deserve to be lied to by politicians. The betrayal of knocking down the department and the Office of Civil Rights is very real. They have stripped the staff, they no longer exist. There was an office, an OCR office for the Department of Education in San Francisco, right in Union Square. All of those folks were literally fired on the dime and had to walk out with their boxes. The backlog of cases, from child sexual abuse in schools to rape to, again, the problematizing of children with disabilities, those caseloads are just hanging in the wind. What I will do and what we have to do is we're still going to continue to organize, but I don't have faith right now in this administration. Although we will hold them accountable, they have proven time and time again they're not with us. We're going to work with our new governor and push him to have a disability justice agenda. We have to. I will do that with you, with us. We'll also have to really push our county partners, and we're going to need to work together. It is so core. Disabled children are, even in Democratic spaces, forgotten about. But as a disabled woman in Congress, that's not happening anymore. I have made a commitment to be a very, very strong voice for our children and for our elders and folks who are relying on government to do the right thing. Our school boards, you all deserve a lot more support. So let's really work on this. I would love to work with this on you. Our new governor, again, our boards of supervisors, and you have a new state senator after Aisha goes, after folks, the special election cycle is a bit crazy, but I am going to be working with every elected official moving forward for the school year to make sure that our children have what they need. We are working together with Senator Schiff, and also Senator Padilla on this issue, as with other issues. I'm ready to keep fighting, but it's going to be a local fight. It's going to be, again, local accountability, including, of course, my role, your role, and all the elected roles. I know there's a lot of staff here. We have to center young children in our schools who, again, need champions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ryan. We appreciate you. Fantastic. Well then, before I kick it over to the Congresswoman to share some high-level updates, just wanted to let everyone know the flow for the evening. So we'll hear some high-level updates from the Congresswoman. Then we'll move to questions. I have, our staff have been collecting all of your half sheets, and we also have the questions that were submitted via your RSVPs. So we're pulling them into sort of the most asked questions, and we'll try to hit those right at the top. We modify each town hall. We learn from each one. We're on our 16th one. So in order to get to lots of questions, I'm going to try to ask 3 at a time and have the Congresswoman answer them. So hopefully we can get through the written questions really quickly. And then we'll move to audience questions. So we will pass the microphone around as well because we want to hear from everyone in the room. With that, I'm really excited. Oh, I also want to thank and acknowledge our ASL interpreters. Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for your support. I also know we have some members from the East Bay Center for the Blind in the room. So we'll shout you out. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. And with that, I'm very honored to kick it over to our Congresswoman Lateefah Simon.
Thank you all so much. Again, for being here at dinner time. Federal government doesn't let us buy food, but hopefully we'll get out here in time for folks to eat. Really, it means a lot. I wanted to just talk about a couple of things before we open up. We have a PowerPoint that is going in the back. You may not even be able to see it from where I am. It's available on our website, and it has accessibility functions. That PowerPoint really goes over our full legislative record, really what our platform is, my focus every single day on the Hill and when I'm in here. And it's a lot to go over. I don't want to give a big speech because I really want to get close to where your hearts are, your frustrations, and what you need from us. But a couple of things that I think are important to talk about here in Alameda.
gotta say, the most beautiful city in the district. So beautiful. Goals. One day I'll hopefully be one of y'all's neighbors. It's such a beautiful city, and being in the parade, you just see the beautiful, lovely diversity, and diversity is a beautiful word, diversity of this wonderful city. It's just so what's important to me and top of mind to talk to you about tonight are a couple of things. The Alameda Point VA project. $400 million has gone into this project. I'm sure many of you in this room were there at the very beginning through the conversations and town hall meetings with Ms. Lee, Barbara Lee, and your mayor, Ashcroft, who's just been extraordinary. In my first term, a few months into my first term, my office got an email that was a paragraph long from the Veterans Affairs saying that they were pausing the project. The disrespect, and I'm gonna use betrayal a lot, is palpable. But again, anytime we get bad news, which is every day from the administration, my office is gonna fight back. Our veterans deserve the best. There's a church here in Alameda that you all know the church, and the name is going to escape me, that does the beautiful Thanksgiving dinner every year, or lunch every year. Yes, Christ Church. And being there at Christ Church last year with all these amazing volunteers and seeing these incredible retired vets who are literally sleeping on the streets, to know that an administration has taken care out of their realities in the last years of their lives is despicable. So I want to talk to you about what we're doing, because we're not accepting no as an answer. We're going to continue to hold the administration accountable. Being in the minority, there's not a ton folks are saying that we could do, but we're using every single tool in the toolkit. That outpatient clinic will be built. It will be built. They'll continue to tell us no, and we're going to continue to fight every single day. And this might sound a little policy wonky, but I actually want to read verbatim some of the actions that we are taking, because again, it's not enough to just go shout and scream. We're using really our tools to make it very clear that we deserve answers. We successfully secured in the House passed VA funding bill a demand. It is now in the law that the administration has to provide clear answers to their betrayal, to the fact that they are literally spitting in the faces of our veterans in Alameda County. So it's in the law. The Veterans Administration must tell us not just that they hate blue states and they hate progressives and they hate black women, but they have to talk to, meaning me, they have to talk to the veterans and give them answers. We're going to demand those answers, and again, push this administration to put its money where its mouth is and to build an outpatient clinic for our vets. It's what they deserve. We're also working with the mayor, who's just been extraordinary. She is tireless. She demands updates every single week on what's happening, who we're meeting with. We're providing those updates. We're working hand in hand. We have also joined forces with our senators and their staff and Veterans Committee staff on the Democratic side. Debbie Wasserman-Schultz is the ranking member, and she has been, again, vigilant in ensuring that I have space and that I have time to ensure that there is a top-of-the-line, clear demand. Listen, it's my second year in Congress. I am not leaving this office until we have a promise that veterans are going to get their just due in this district. As we learn more about, again, where our demands are being met, now it's in the law. They have to answer with more than a paragraph. Again, more of a betrayal sentence to our veterans. We're going to keep you updated. I'm also on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. In Congress, there are a number of committees in the House of Representatives. That's where the work actually happens. And I am blessed to have been appointed on this committee as a freshman. It's actually where, you see Marjorie Taylor Greene yelling at Jasmine Crockett. It's that committee, okay? So it's very exciting. Again, Congress is a numbers game, right? We don't have the votes oftentimes to subpoena folks because we're in the minority, but we're cooking. We're cooking. We are the ones who pushed for the Epstein files release. Don't let them think that it was them. That was us. In fact, it was Summer Lee, who's an amazing, wonderful member of the Oversight Committee and her subcommittee that got those files released. But the important piece of me being on the Oversight Committee in this moment, we still have a voice in holding the administration accountable. But boy, oh boy, I can't wait to January when we get that gavel. It's going down.
Yeah.
It's going down. You know what in the house. That's a fact, because we're working so hard. I am working so hard all over the state to, again, elect Democratic members. It's time to hold this administration accountable, from the Department of Education.
Right.
You see what's happening with our sailors?
Yeah.
You see what's happening with our sailors? Do you realize the Pentagon has a $1 trillion budget, and our sailors, I'm very anti-war, but don't respect men and women and our siblings who have decided to risk their lives for this country by not providing them the best. How dare they? We are going to hold them accountable. We are going to release these damn files, hopefully in the next couple of years, and when we get a Democratic president, and hold one of the most horrific sex trafficking rings accountable in America's history. We will do that work. So being on the Oversight Committee, I want you to continuously look at our site. We're putting out every single time I have an opportunity. I was made the top Democrat on a task force underneath the Oversight Committee. Again, very rare for a freshman member. We're being very vocal. We're being very clear. We're being very consistent with the values of this district on that committee. So I just wanted to give you all that update. Continue to look up and at what we're doing on the Oversight Committee. And then what we all want to happen, right, in November, we gotta retake the House. And so I want to tell you a little bit about how that works and get to your questions. You know, so learning how the work goes down in that dome, I mean, I have 2 policy degrees. And what I learned on day 1 and every single day after has just been extraordinarily enlightening. Congress is a 100% numbers game, right? It's a numbers game. And, you know, we need a Democratic majority to stop this hell path, because that is exactly what it is. From the President of the United States making over $2 billion last year, which is shocking and horrible, to there being no guardrails in this race to the top around artificial intelligence, to, again, your Medicare and your Medicaid being stripped, to, I mean, I can go on and on, to SNAP going from $6 a day for low-income folks, which is not enough, to now $4 a day. Again, the betrayal, the hypocrisy continues. Winning back the House means that we get to stop horrific bills in their tracks on day 1. I will, because you've asked me to, continuously prioritize empty bellies over bombs. You will never, ever, ever see me voting yes when it comes to sending bombs overseas. I don't care what country. I don't care what country. We're going to hold the pain of folks who are surviving horrible atrocities all over the world. We will not choose. We will lift up folks who are struggling through war and crisis. We will lift them up, and we will consistently vote in their names as well. So just know that. You know, Democrats have a clear task. And listen, I spent 30 years as an organizer, very, very furious at elected officials who didn't understand. Many of them have never been poor. Many of them have never had to be on a daycare list for 2 years and had to work full time and go to school full time. I come from low income housing. I raised 2 kids, again, being a disabled widow, all those little check marks. Those are real experiences that I take to the floor very seriously. So what you have to know, that I'm listening to you in terms of how we are talking about what Americans deserve, Americans and folks who are struggling through a broken immigration process, that everyone deserves due process. Everyone deserves an affordable experience. Everyone deserves health care when they need it. It'll be a road to getting there. Everyone deserves to be able, when you're sick and you get the worst news of your life, to be able to be entered into a clinical trial that may save their life. I want you to know that the Trump administration has canceled hundreds of clinical trials that researchers have put their lifeblood into, that participants have put their lives into. They have canceled those trials. So you know what that means? Trials at Children's Hospital right over in Oakland, canceled. That means babies have to get ports taken out of their chest and sent home to die. Know that I understand. Know that I understand. I am, when I say I'm a progressive means progress, not just ideology. It means doing the right thing for real people. So you sent me to Congress, not just to be part of the 435. You send me a lead, and that's exactly what I intend to do every single day, even when it's uncomfortable. So let's get some of your questions.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We're getting furious texts from our amazing team, and we're trying to adjust it to accommodate the things you just shared in your updates.
And wait a minute, am I talking too fast?
So let me start with our first slate of 3 questions. So one is, what can we do as individuals and community members to stand up to the administration's efforts to suppress votes? Lots of concerns about ICE. How can our office help? We're very scared, we have immigration issues, visa applications, etc. And then can you speak on your work to prevent a coal terminal in Oakland? You're like,
No coal in Oakland. Those children and those elders for decades, actually for 3 generations, have suffered the effects of environmental racism in Oakland.
Yes.
Adults have asthma. Children literally are taken out of school for bloody noses. We have been working with our teachers in OEA and that's the teachers union, to hear and experience and understand what's already happening. There's, we have industry there that should be regulated a lot more, or frankly in other places where children and elders are not living. That being said, 2 things. There's a lot of organizers who are furious about this. The Trump administration gave a no-bid contract to a developer. And that developer, I will say, has done some great things around housing, but this ain't it. This is not it. We have submitted an amendment, again, it's a numbers game that the Republicans blocked, to stop that train, that rail of funding, that no-bid contract in, but we're not going to stop at that. That is your money that is being spent on a coal terminal that, of course, will bring thousands of trucks a year into a community that is already striving and praying to breathe. And so I'm going to continue to work with community organizations. I'm working with Senator Padilla, they've been great, and Senator Schiff. Again, I'm trying to aggressively stop this funding. It hasn't hit yet. And so there's still more life bread. And when it gets here, if it gets here, we're still going to fight like hell to kick it back out. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. Poor people, low-income people, the new folks who have a lot of resources who are moving into West Oakland and buying million-dollar houses, their babies too will suffer. We can continue to organize together to push this back. I am dedicated to that fight. I live in an apartment 30 blocks to where this coal terminal is going to be, with my 15-year-old, my 30-year-old daughter, her husband, lots of people in the house, and the baby. We too, we know and we understand that if we're going to have a community that can prosper, we don't need to be breathing in coal. So the second question was about immigration. You all, I want to be very honest. I think it's $800 billion that the Republicans just gave gave ICE. They are everywhere. And while we are a welcoming district, you can call it sanctuary, you can call it welcoming, we know that it takes sometimes 15 to 20 years for folks to get through an immigration process. Those are the hardest working folks, and they're still being yanked off the streets all over the country. Folks who are in a process. Some folks who are in an asylum process, who have left war, who are working every single day. Your teachers, your nurses, your surgeons. Erin, it's happening here. We gotta take care of each other. My office should be and can be your first call if you're wondering, is ICE in my community today? Now see, while we're not helping them, government is not helping ICE, that's their job. We're not doing their job for them, which is again unconstitutional how they've been doing their job. We will have no part in it. That said, the federal government trumps oftentimes, pun intended, a lot of our local laws. We can't force ICE out, but we can do our best. Now, when I was in Minnesota, right after, they killed that young mother, shot her in the face. We went, a couple of members of Congress from the Progressive Caucus, we went to the site where they killed Ms. Good, and it was one of the most profound moments of my life, and I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot with a lot of communities that have been suffering. There was a beautiful Christian community, mostly white folks, and it was like 4 degrees, I kid you not. There's over 100 people out there, just a few days after the murder, singing the Lord's Prayer over and over and over. And as I chickened out because I couldn't take the cold and I got back on the bus, one of the women talked to me about the organizing that was going on. And they said all day here, you hear 2 things. You hear whistles and you hear screams. The screams come from these agents going in with no-knock warrants in the homes and dragging children and elderly folks out and putting them into custody. But the whistles are real. And the whistles come from an organized community of citizens who have papers, who are taking it upon themselves to bear witness. To bear witness and warn. We can hold each other. While groups like Democracy Forward and the ACLU and La Raza Central sue the hell out of the Trump administration. We can hold each other. You can also, again, call our offices, not just to know what's happening in community, because we can call Homeland Security to get clarification on what's happening in community, but more importantly, we can serve you. We can serve you. We can call, we can have folks get us good information that might be difficult for you to get about when your court date is or what's actually happened. Do you truly have deportation orders? But my God, elections have tremendous consequences. We are living in some very dark times, but these are not new times. For some of you, you know that your parents in the early 40s were taken from their homes and put in concentration camps. In fact, Tamparan held thousands of Japanese Americans. 80% of them were citizens. But we fought and we won. And we're going to have to continue to do that. God bless everyone going through the administration's process, unjust process right now. Let's hold each other, Alameda. Your third question?
It was, how do we stand up to the administration's efforts to suppress votes?
Oh, we're just going to have to be outside. We have to be outside, not just here. I mean, again, the amazing work that's going on with our legal community, and that's here, the private bar and community organizations here and all over the country who have deep plans with, again, the Democratic Party. We have to continue to push them, but to make sure that we have secure and fair elections. And for us, secure and fair means, and no hyperbole, that the Klan is not going to be outside. Or that, again, members of our military are not going to be outside. Those young men and women did not sign up to violate the Constitution, but they're being ordered to do horrible things. We will ensure, we have to, safe and secure and fair elections. You can vote. We have, honestly, every single time the SAVE Act has come in front of the Congress, and know that it's not just about voter ID. No. It's about poll tests. It's about keeping people being scared. No mail-in ballots. So what about our disabled brothers and sisters? What about our elderly folks? No, we're not having that. These are dog whistles. You can vote by mail. We're asking people, vote early and go to a drop box if you can. All right? And we'll continue to spread information during election time about how to best get your ballots. But I also think it's really important for us to call our cousins in the Midwest, right? Call our cousins in the South. Get on the phone and let people know to vote early. We still, regardless of whatever rigmarole they try to do, they are not going to. They can't. They don't have the time. Because there's more of us who believe in a real democracy. We're going to mail our ballots. We're going to vote pay up. We're going to demand. If they try to do anything funky, we're going to sue. I don't have much faith in the Supreme Court, but justice will absolutely prevail. There are too many of us now, even folks who vote red, who realize and understand that there's something very sinister happening. We're going to win. We're going to win because we know what folks really need and what they deserve and their kitchen tables. And I need us to not lose faith in this experiment of this representative democracy. It is ours. It belongs to you.
We have a few questions about what can you and Congress do to reform the Supreme Court. And then we have a question about what are you doing to protect the East Bay's environment and fight climate change? How can we as citizens do our part? And then there's a question about how can we prioritize science funding as an investment in our community?
I'll start with that. Essential component of, I've been in Congress a few months now, and there's so much that comes in our door of things that we should focus on. I've been very clear, again, my husband, many of you all know this, died of pretty horrific cancer. And I was left with a toddler and I was bankrupt, literally bankrupt. And didn't get off the bankruptcy rolls until like 2 years ago, right? And no one should be bankrupt trying to save their lives. Like it's ridiculous. The beauty of our experience is we were in a clinical trial, and while Kevin was only supposed to live 3 months, we got 2 years because of research, right? Because of good clinical trials and very expensive drugs for very rare diseases. So I am centering access to care and research as part of my work in Congress. You will be like, I thought Lateefah was going to do juvenile and criminal justice reform. We're going to do that too. But I understand this attack on research is costing people with the most to lose the most. The most. If your grandpa has ALS, you understand what I mean. If you need a heart transplant, you know what I mean. If you have HIV, you know what I mean. And so if we can do anything in this moment in time where innovation is happening, it's at the speed of Twitter, which I don't use anymore, we have to be centered on this idea about funding research. In fact, and I'll talk about it a little later, we brought home almost $900 million back to this district. A large portion of that has been to research. The Trump administration tried to take away money from one of the most important labs in the world, the CRISPR lab, right here at UC Berkeley. You said, hell no, get it back, and we did. And we'll continue securing research funding. It doesn't matter how you vote. If your baby needs to be in a clinical trial, they deserve to get that support and that help, and we won't stop fighting. Second question?
About climate.
Every single climate justice bill that comes across our desk, we're not only gonna vote yes, we're also co-sponsoring. I would love for you to look on our website to see the list of bills that we're co-sponsoring. And I'm just so thankful for the League of Conservation Voters and Sierra Club and the scrappy, wonderful group of senior citizens who call my office every day, making sure that I'm signing on to every environmental justice bill. Moreover, we are really impassioned about listening to our local electeds who are telling us, you need to prioritize the sea level project in San Leandro. You need to prioritize the sea level project in Alameda. We have done what we can to bring back resources for projects all over the district that are lifting us up. This is the most beautiful district in the country because we still have trees. Our air is still clean because we've had to fight for it. Both Democrats and Republicans haven't done enough around environmental justice. I'll end here. It's also my learning curve. So teach me. We cannot just sign and co-sponsor bills. We can lead on them in this office during my tenure, and I just look forward to learning so much more. Again, clean air means we live longer. Clean air means the earth lives longer. What we're handing over to our children is an existential crisis. I know that. But again, so many organizations that I mentioned and others, they've been wonderful in providing tutelage for my office to know what to look out for, what to say no to, and really how to hold the hopes and dreams of folks who really want to secure a cleaner Bay Area. The last thing I'll say on this though is, I was on the BART board for 8 years. As a disabled American, it's extremely important to have public transit, but by God, our air deserves it. Let's get cars off the damn roads and provide clean, safe, and affordable transportation. And I don't know if you've been on BART lately. It's really beautiful. We have done a really, really good job, I think, collectively as a Bay Area of saying this is the kind of transportation we deserve. I am also in my political capacity, my campaign capacity, which I can't talk too much about here, but there's a measure to save public transportation on the November ballot, and it has to succeed. That's clean air, that is mobility. Mobility is a right and not a privilege, and we'll get there together.
All right, so we still have the question about reforming the Supreme Court.
Okay.
I wanted to prep the room that after this we'll move to.
So reforming the Supreme Court, my God, we're gonna need a Congress that really has. I wanted to say it was babies, children in the room. You said it. But I will say, I hate saying on my website. It's like but that's what it is. What we have done is we've listed out the Congressional Progressive Caucus's demands to leadership about what we want to see out of a Democratic Party who leads the House, who leads with vigor and fervor, and a part of that is demanding for an expanded Supreme Court. We gotta get there, y'all. This court is dangerous to our republic. It is dangerous to our children. It is dangerous, we've seen, to educators. It is dangerous to our diversity. It is dangerous to women. It is dangerous to trans people. So we're just gonna keep fighting back. But we do have, again, a plan, the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which is a caucus within the Democratic Party. I'm a progressive and a proud one. And it lists out, again, our efforts to say to Hakeem and others, this is what we need and will demand of you. And part of that is expanding our court.
Wonderful, thank you so much. All right, we're gonna move to audience questions. I believe that my microphone is the one that we have to pass around the room. So I'm gonna hand it off to Sky, and I will try to, we're gonna try to spread the questions through the room. It's here, Sky. So if you could raise your hands for folks who want to ask a question. Oh, there, but we're gonna.
And you want to take a couple maybe at the same time, and then I'll try, and if I forget part of it, you remind me, yeah?
Yep.
Y'all doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe on my campaign side, we'll have another town hall meeting, I'll have tacos.
Hello, this is Frank Welty from San Leandro, and you probably are aware of this, but there has been for a long time a horrific lack of funding for services for older people who are blind, and I hope you can help us with that.
Yeah. So, give them a hand. So, I'm really glad you're here today. I don't know if you guys are in Shannon Hill Camp kids, but yes, I love EHC. Shannon Hill Camp is it's kind of like you know if you know. It's a camp for visually impaired blind folks, and I'll see a visually impaired person on the street. I'm like, did you go to Shannon Hill Camp? They're like, yes. So I'm glad we're old school campers. I have a couple of really good bills in the House that I believe will pass. And I passed 5 bills, you all, since I've been in the Congress. I think we have co-signed and co-sponsored, but I've authored and passed 5 bills, which we're learning is pretty unheard of for a freshman, especially in the minority. But my job is to legislate, not just to talk crap on social media and run to CNN. You have asked me to pass bills. A majority of those bills are around disability justice. And it is an area, there's no such thing as bipartisan in this Congress, but to me there's common sense laws. And from encouraging small business owners to hire disabled folks, there should be tax incentives for that. The Think Differently About Disability Act, it passed the House because we knew, I don't care how you vote, everyone in their family has someone that they're lifting up with a disability. You talked about blindness and supports for blind folks. Our state schools for the deaf and the blind deserve so much more, so much more. It's horrific, actually, what blind children and deaf children have to go through to receive an education, even in a state like California. So on a state level, I'll continue fighting for more resources for the deaf and blind schools. But I have a wonderful bill that has not yet passed the House. It's still in committee, but we're working it. And that means phone calls every day to folks that don't like me and I don't like them. But that's the work. This bill is called, it's a Same-Day Paratransit Act. Did you know, first of all, if you are disabled, whether again you're trying to get to dialysis or to school, you have to call paratransit, which is a state and federally funded apparatus all over the country. And it's never on time. They pay horrifically, and it's never on time. So then mobility then becomes a privilege and not a right. And BART and AC Transit don't go everywhere. Understand? And so you have to know, when I'm talking about transit justice, it's centering folks like us. To get K through 12, you leave K through 12, you lose so many services. I've been working with the Center for Independent Living. I love those folks. This is a part of the disability movement, you know that, right? In this Bay Area, I would love to talk to you more because we're going to keep fighting for blind and disabled folks. We have another bill that's still also in committee. It's called the See the Board Act. Yeah, you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's actually such a good bill. It says something very simple. That, well, I mean, I know there's a couple babies, but I gotta say it. These bastards are defunding everything that has to do with quality of life for folks in America. They're taking away Medicare and Medicaid. Our children, in the interim, they deserve vision screenings and hearing screenings through their public education facilities. We will pass that bill. I am hell-bent on that happening. So through other bill ideas around here supporting deaf and blind folks and disabled folks, please let us know, call our office. The state has a huge responsibility to lift up our students and our educators, particularly our special educators. Thank you so much, Professor. I see you doing that work. And this is why I'm in Congress.
Morning.
You have an open invitation at the East State Center.
All right, Sky, let's see some hands then for more questions. Let's crazy through the road. Let's go here to the front then.
Hi, I'm Liz Williams. I live in Barnhill, Alameda, here in Alameda. And first of all, I want to thank you for being here and for what you're doing in what are really horrific times. I so appreciate you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I live in a marina that's a floating home marina, which is a unique situation. It is one of the most beautiful spots in Alameda, as Gracie Johnson and Michelle and Ray Ball can all tell you is true, because they've been there. I'd like to invite you and your staff down. Ethan has been hearing from my partner Ashley Mullins. We are an affordable housing, naturally occurring form of affordable housing on our 4th slumlord. Sorry.
This is the memo you just sent me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I want to invite you all to come and see the marina and see what is happening. It's where climate, sea level rise, and housing and home ownership coincide, and we need help. And we'd like to.
The answer is an absolute yes. I would love to be there with you all. Just got a rundown, and it's shocking what's happening. It's shocking what's happening, and the fact that there's still homeowners that are there. We have to fight for your survival, and I would love to come down. So let's schedule that. And we have staff here. Make sure that, well, you have their information. Let's get that on the books. I go back to DC in a few days, but I'm back also every other week at least, and then all of October I'm here. So I can't wait to. I'll bring you some good coffee.
Thank you. All right, make some hands for some more questions. Yes. Spread it out for this. I feel like we gotta get, oh, you got
Question over here.
I got
Can I say something?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Congresswoman, thank you. I get emotional when I have to talk about homelessness.
Yeah.
Someone who was once homeless, living in my car, not homeless anymore. But I saw.
Give thanks.
Yes, I do. I saw on your screen. You said something about 21st century road to housing. I want to know more about that.
Yeah. So it's actually, so the question was about a bill that actually did just pass the House and that I signed on to. It has been so frustrating to get good housing policy out of Congress. This is a bipartisan bill that moved through the House. But by the way, the president has refused to sign it if we don't pass the SAVE Act, which is again the loophole tax. What a horrible human being. But don't worry, because even the Republicans know that their folks in West Virginia, their folks in the deep South and deep Texas, they too cannot afford to live. This is a national crisis. You know, when my daughter is 30, I was a teen mom, and I was a client of an organization called Homeless Prenatal.
Oh my
And
God.
it is what it is, right?
Oh my
It does what it says. It helps homeless folks. There was a time that I didn't have a key either. And everything that we should be doing is making sure that folks have keys. The Road to Housing bill will provide new federal funding. It'll also expand Section 8 vouchers. Section 8 vouchers are a win-win, and they've been demonized. But what it is, it's a voucher system that pays the landlord. Listen, let me tell you something. When those $6,000 rents come up over here, like they are in San Francisco right now, everyone's gonna need help. So where we have demonized housing policy for poor people, even middle-class people will not be able to stay here in the Bay Area if we don't demand that the president sign that bill and have that money start flowing through states. I am hell-bent on making sure that that happens.
Thank you.
Again, it is like David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Look, we've been getting close calls from folks all over the country who never have called Democrats. Folks who are saying, I can't buy eggs and I can't pay this rent. Do we know that in this county, and you don't make me cry, over 60% of the people who live on the concrete are seniors. A majority of those folks are Black people. The majority of those Black people had homes all but years ago. And so what frustrates me, I will say, of not being on the ground every day, because most of my life before I got to Congress, I worked with homeless young people, particularly transgender youth, and young people going through the criminal justice system. Whatever they did, it still wasn't enough. And I missed that ground-to-ground outreach and organizing and working with housing providers. I want you to know, I carry that. And so when I tell you, yes, that passed through the House, I also want to be honest with you, ma'am, that money ain't coming soon enough. And so, again, our work as local officials is work with philanthropy, public-private partnerships. We need more tax base. I am very business forward as a progressive. I need businesses to come here, people to buy lunch, folks to be able to pay taxes so that we can provide supports, not just for those elders who I said were sleeping on the streets, but also working people. All of us deserve the key. All of us deserve the key. The only reason I was able to go to college and take her from 7 to 7. Folks don't understand the life. Child care costs more than rent. And we absolutely need to have a strong safety net for our parents. It's so hypocritical for a pro-life administration to not want to pay child care subsidies for low-income folks who are doing everything right. I would love for you. We actually met when I first got in office with the first 5 management. Come back. Let's now that we're in there, we're going to fight for more resources in the next Congress. We'd love to talk to you. So even when we make sure that we're connected. Okay, and I promise, I said this when I was like, I'm gonna be really quick with my answers. I just care so much. Let's do 2 more.
Let's do
questions,
2
and we'll
more.
all try to be fair.
Alright, I think I see you right.
Hi there, Congresswoman. Thank you for being here. My name is Isaac. I've been a resident of Alameda for 2 years. And you touched on a couple things around affordability already, but my question was around healthcare. I've had an undiagnosed condition for the last year that's caused me to lose around 40 pounds, and I have to live with it every day. It's very difficult, but I would say the worst part about it is not being able to go to the doctor to be able to figure out what's wrong, because the cost is just unbelievable. And you touched on Medicare for All already, but is there anything else that you can do or are doing to help bring healthcare costs down so people like me can get diagnosed for these things?
One, we have to make sure that, you have 6 government offices in a room. This man needs to get seen, right? That's important. That's important. That's critical. And you should be able to, in this county, get seen, treated, and be cared for. So that's a priority. If we can really make that happen, and again, I deeply believe in privacy and HIPAA. So please come to the stage, and we have us here. We have to get you seen. Baywell and the other federally qualified health centers, they have to help. We have to make sure everybody in this room and everyone in our community actually gets seen. I don't like promises. I really need us to connect people to healers and to folks who care. There's no way. I mean, when Kevin, my husband, it took him a while to get diagnosed, and he got misdiagnosed so many times. They said, oh, you have this and you have that. He had T-cell lymphocytic leukemia that kills people in months. And you're gonna be okay, because we're gonna really, really work to make sure that you're gonna get seen. There's too many folks here to have you in that space. And so if nothing else gets done in this town hall, we're gonna get this brother seen. Thank you.
Other two. Let's do a last one right here in the middle. Last question.
Wait, real quick, who on our staff, who's doing healthcare on our staff?
No, sir.
Okay, health sir? Okay. You got it. You, Simon? Okay.
Yep, I got it.
Good.
I got it.
Thank you again, Congresswoman, for being here. And my name is Nick, and I'm actually coming on behalf of my ministry, New Heaven, New Earth. And something that we're going to be doing in mid-October is we're going to have a banquet for our retired first responders. And we're trying to just invite anyone who would like to come by, and I would like to invite you or your staff who would like to come and show your support, even say some words if you like. But no need for that, but if you wanted to. But that's it, that's my question, if you wanted to come.
Okay, you want to give me a date, and we don't do that, but it's a beautiful thing to end on. There's so much that we can talk about, or we have to talk about AI in our communities. There's so much that we have to talk about affordability and cost and care and war. You know where we stand. But there's something that I haven't talked about in this town hall. I don't care how you pray, and if you pray, there is room for all of us. I mean, the other night, sometimes my ADD takes control of me, and I was like, let me apply to Princeton's seminary at Princeton. So it seems like we have one job. There's something in these very hard times, and I'm a Muslim, right? I was raised Muslim. I want to go to seminary. There's something about, I read a lot from Torah, and I read a lot in the New Testament. I read a lot of Quran. I read a lot of the Tao. There's something that is so comforting that what we are going through, there's nothing new under the sun. And our grandmothers and our grandfathers, they held on to these things that kept their stories alive. These are those times. This is a crisis, but it's also a reoccurrence. And so I would love, not just your church, your masjid, your synagogue, we have so much that's tearing us apart, but I want you to know that while there's a lot of labels being put on people, my service should be that witness and then the work. And so if I'm here, brother, I would love to come. I just went to a revival in East Oakland at Allen Temple, and we were not singing, we were singing. It was amazing. It was amazing with 700 people there talking about justice and using our places of worship also as organizing spaces where we hold each other and we protect each other. Our organizing spaces in this country and in this district, they have been underground railroads for folks. That's who we are. Thank you, brother, for the invitation. Y'all, thank you so much. Let's do that.